Welcome to your week 2 homework video. I'll be discussing a little bit about what's going to be in your worksheet for homework this week in your win form. Before I do that though, I did want to begin with a little bit of information about last week's homework, some things that I noticed while grading that could definitely help you in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. Again, we started last week's homework with a choice on either doing a poster or flashcards. The one thing I did notice was when we did this poster, some people were doing it in just black and white and there was not any color added. It's very important that you follow the directions, guys, so you don't get any points off for things that you ordinarily wouldn't have. So in this case, just make sure that it's in color. Some people got points off for that. And then going on to the graphing, I did notice some people getting points taken off for simple mistakes. Not showing the slope was a big thing that got people points off on this assignment right here. I did want to talk more about this speed problem set here. And it's very important that when you're doing these problems on speed, that you start by identifying whatever they give you in the problem. It's very simple because you just look at whatever numbers they give you, and you underline those numbers, and then you look at their units. So this one's in kilometers, that tells me it's a distance. This one is in hours, that tells me it's a time. And then over here, we also are going to underline what we're looking for. In this case, it's speed. And if you look up at the top of this handout, it tells you the equation. You'll want to write that equation down. We plug our numbers for distance and time into the equation, and you'll get speed equals 60 kilometers divided by 3.5 hours. Now, at this point, you would just divide them and get your answer. A lot of you are just showing me your answer, and that's really hard for me to give you full credit, and I kind of took it easy on this first assignment, but I am going to be from now on looking for all 5 of these parts, and I'll be discussing this in class to reinforce it, but it's very important you have all 5 so I can see exactly where you're not understanding how to do the problem. Maybe it's because you identified the given information wrong, or maybe it's because you used the wrong equation. I can't tell any of that if I just see your answers wrong and I don't see any work. So it's really important that you show all 5 steps, because you're also going to get a grade out of 5 points for each type of problem like this, where you can get a 5 out of 5 would be a perfect score. And then any, depending on how much work, you'd get a fraction of that for total points. So it's really important you show all your work. Again, you're going to show your given, that would be 1 point right here. You're going to show what you're looking for. The equation would be another point. The 4th point's coming from your substitution step. And then you're only getting 1 point for this answer. So if you're just going to be showing answers, you're only going to get 1/5 of the credit that you could get. So, if we had a worksheet that was just nothing but problems and you showed only answers, that means you're only going to get a 20% if you only show your answers, even if you get them all right. So it's really important to show all your work if you want to get full credit. Okay, the last thing that I noticed on the homework um, that needs to be cleaned up for the second week is here. If you read this, the nurture part, it needs to be another person that you teach this information to. So let's say you've completed your win form. All you have to do is pick a person. It doesn't have to be someone you're related to, but you pick somebody. Let's say it's your mom. You would explain to them whatever you learned by doing this worksheet, and then they would fill out these 3 sections right here for you. You don't fill it out for them. Um, it should be the other person, whoever you taught it to, filling out A, B, and C of this last part. Okay? So that was the last week and some of the things I noticed. I am going to also put out another video sometime this week with some word problems that I work through, just as supplementary work that you can look at and you can try with me in the video to get better at it. But this video is about our homework for week 2, so let's get to that. You'll notice there still is a vocabulary section, but this week you're going to be creating some sentence stems. You'll see that there's an example here for the word precision. The sentence stem is, the instrument had a great amount of blank because the measurements were always so close together. So you can see it's basically a fill in the blank. You need to create 7 of those using the vocabulary words that have been given to you. There is a short 5-question multiple choice concept review over some of the stuff that we've covered. So you can see here like the total length of a journey from start to finish with no regard to direction is called. And then you have either A, distance, B, displacement, C, position, or D, velocity. For this one, we'd be going with distance, A, because the key words here that key that off for you are the fact that it says no regard to direction. If they had told you that you had to keep track of direction, then you might be looking at B as your answer choice. So after that multiple choice section, there's a third and final section on distance and displacement. So it says for the following examples, write out the distance and the displacement. Do you remember those are two very different things? Distance is the total amount of distance that you cover, whereas displacement is from start to finish. So wherever you start, you draw a straight line to where you finish, and that would be your total displacement. For this first problem, if we are doing that, sorry about that. For the first problem, if we are doing that, again, your given information here would be 100 meters north, 300 meters south. If I was to draw a little diagram of that, say this was our starting point, and we went 100 meters north, and then we backtracked 300 meters south. Use a different color for that one. So we come back down 300 meters. Our distance in this case would be a total of 400 because we're just going to add up both distances together. So our distance would be 400 meters. But our displacement from this red X down, if we went 100 up and 300 down, that would give us a total of 200 meters south as our displacement. And we have to show the direction here because it is displacement. And when you're talking about displacement, again, we have to keep track of the direction because it tells us from where we started, what direction we had to go to get to that finishing point. So 200 meters south. And again, I got that because I went 100 up minus the 300 down would give me a total of 200 left over going in the southern direction. Okay, so you'll complete the rest of these in that format. And then you have to make up your own word problem on distance and displacement. There are a few questions to help you internalize information, and then again, very similar to last week, you'll have to pick somebody that you can teach this to, and then they will fill out sections A, B, and C here at the end for you. Okay, so a little bit less work than last week, but it's to the point and it goes over some of the things that we're going to be covering this week, specifically distance and displacement. And as I said, later in the week, I'm also going to put out another video on some word problems for speed, so you can practice that. And I was going to be putting that on probably around Wednesday after we have a word problem activity in class that we're going to go over. Okay, so that concludes this video on your week 2 homework. If you have any questions, of course, you can come into class and ask me. And also, just to put this out there, for those of you who would like to, you can come into tutoring in the morning from 8 to 8:40, and that's going to be every day with the exception of Tuesday because I have a meeting in the morning on Tuesday. But Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'll be in there helping anyone who comes by that needs help. Okay? Take care.